Well, that's tough. Then don't worry, I got you covered. I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
For Kyle.
I don't want to listen to you talk. No Woody find it, but yeah, Google works that way too, jackass. Nice hair, by the way.
Motherfucker.
Oh.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I see you're rocking your Superman doo-wop. That's very nice.
It's better now.
This thing is outrageous. We're gonna get to this thing more later, but just like, listen to that kitten purr. You hear that? That's oh, it's absolutely so disgusting when you really look in there. It's really going to work. Oh, that's awful. Get to this a little bit later. This is gonna be fun. Tell my dad every time I see my dad when we depart. I said, "Love you, Dad. See you next time." He's like, "Drive safe, son. Love you too." We say that every time we leave each other's presents or whatever. And we always have. I always noticed that my cousin didn't tell his dad he loved him, and I always thought, like, what if your dad dies, dude? You better let him know. And I've always thought that even when I was a little kid. I was like, just fucking tell Daddy you love him. He might not come home. How are you gonna feel if you don't tell Daddy you love him and he doesn't come home? And after a fight or something, if you yell at him, like I'd be like, all right, but let's go make up now. Make sure he knows I love him. What if he doesn't come home? And I think that about lots of things. I don't like leaving things poorly with anyone. I like to go and make up and make sure they know that I appreciate them and how I feel about them. Because what if they don't make it?
Yeah. I thought about that a lot more as a kid. I think the whole like, oh no, what if my mom dies in the next 2 hours? I didn't say I love you before soccer practice. Like,
is that a Garth Brooks song? If tomorrow never comes,
it may be.
Would she know how much I loved her? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about his daughter.
You give Jordy $250,000 a year, he'll become the meanest motherfucker you've ever met. You won't be able to be in the same room with him without.
He was always an honest guy, man. He was an honest guy. Yeah.
He'd look you up and down and just fucking find you wanting. He would let you know. in every case, in any situation. What some shoes you wearing, faggot? He would turn into that guy. I wish him well, but I don't wish him the best. I don't like fat people. So what happened was, I mean, they're uncomfortable to be around. What are you talking about? Like I don't know why everybody's like, yeah, come on, you don't like fat people. Nobody does. I mean, you gotta prefer everybody to be. I mean, wouldn't we prefer it if everyone were healthy and they fit neatly in the seat?
You ever been to Paris? It fucking stinks in Paris. The diesel is horrible in Paris. Their emissions really brutal. Yes. France, not so much.
We have diesel here. It don't smell like that. A lot of BO in this French diesel.
That's gotta take like no balls at all to be like a 70-year-old politician and be like, but of course I care so much about the environment. By 2040, be totally behind us. Everyone will remember Jacques the environmentalist. And it's like, no, you're gonna be dead, Jacques. Somebody else is gonna have to do that.
Any sort of disfigurement or maiming that's a suicide.
Kyle, what's the shortest you can be before you just put an end to it? Because you've said so 5 feet tall at Bagel Boss. No.
Now, are we describing a scenario in which a witch curses me and I start shrinking?
No, it's like just your natural. Or sure, fuck it, yeah.
Because they're different answers. Because I think if you've always been 5'9", that's no big deal at all. Like who cares? All right, now you find a shorter girl, right? And Kitty's cousin is a little fella. Yeah, I think he's like 5'6", and I think he. A really tiny woman who's very beautiful, and it works because there's a nice height disparity between them, and it just works. She probably doesn't want some fucking 6'2" tall dude like towering like 2 feet over her. It probably wouldn't make any sense to her. So like a 5'6" guy is like proportional. So 5'9", if you've always been 5'9", it's no big deal. But if you magic wand shrink me down to 5'9", I'm gonna start thinking.
Really? Okay. How about this? 5'8".
I kill myself.
Like the whole thing is like it doesn't sound like adult women getting fucked. It's like go shipute and it's like, oh my god, these are fucking children actors getting fucked by and they're not even normal cocks sometimes. It's like a thorned dick. like a big thorn cock.
Yeah,
in and out.
it'll have nodules on it, and it'll be like suckers. And sometimes, sometimes the girl will be in the clutches of like, I don't know, a mythical monster that has like many tentacles, and he'll be like, his face will be like over here detached, like smiling. So imagine like a head just like.
and like in normal
then there's like 8 tentacles holding her in place, and then like a few of them, going in, her orifices, just in and out, and all kinds. It's ridiculous. Do you know what we're talking about here, Anthony? Have you seen this tentacle porn?
I've seen so much tentacle porn in my day. It's always, yeah.
He was like, it's really hard to pick up a 12-year-old girl with all these hot studs running around in their 30s. But if I could clear the waters a little bit.
He was asking, like, so you managed to get this 13-year-old here naked within half an hour of talking. How'd you do that?
Like, surely they would be like advanced enough to just be like, yeah, we don't want these fuckers to see us.
We also we always assume that whoever shows up is going to be at the stage where they're like hyperdrive space. They're almost like pure energy beings. Like it could be, how all of our movies are like, we're sending this to Rigel 7, the 5th generation will arrive, but everyone else will live on this. So like, it could be that when they show up here, it is the inbred lunatics of aliens, prior. They are not sending their best, folks.
Murders and religious crazy.
So they come out of like the motherfuckers on Alien Resurrection, where there's just like all the rapists in their like little fucking religious colony.
That's what it would be.
Well, there's remember the
Handmaid's Tale people.
Short. Have you ever eaten a bug, Taylor, or anything like that?
I've eaten ants when I was young.
I ate a really big cricket one time, but it was like a fucked up cricket that had like really big, nasty legs. But we were having a party at my house, and we were trying to film something, and all these girls kept like, "It's a fucking bag," just like making a really big deal of this cricket, and they were like, encircling it, like 3 girls crying like children about this cricket, and it was interrupted what we were doing, and so I just went over and like grabbed the thing and just.
Oh, did you eat it in 2 bites? Because that makes it way grosser, I think.
I chewed it up and fucking spat it on the floor, and I was like, "It's fucking dead now!" And I shut him up.
That's great.
Big O's Pip.
What?
Why?
Why?
Week 007, now week 007. Big O's Pip.
Why would you do that, man?
Operator remaining.
Like, honestly.
Mission failed. You don't want to die.
Just click the Patreon button and become a sucky wubby. It's only $1 a month. Please. Ugh, probably like cat hair on me.
Call toll free.